I want to talk about coping with living a plant-based lifestyle, coping when we come out being plant-based or we come out to others. I had this down. I was much more poetic earlier today, but when we come out to our friends and our family about being plant-based, y'all remember we were hit with all those common questions. So there's a conversation going on in our group today that someone is just, I can't remember who it was right now at the moment, but she was kind of feeling, you know, up to here with the questions. You know, I think she sounded like she was confident of why she's plant-based and why she's on her plant-based journey, but the questions about her protein and her nutrition and just the, you know, she feels like people are coming at her and she's just like, whoop, you know, and so she was asking, like, what do we do to cope with those moments? You know, how do we deal with those moments? I wanted us to throw in, you know, you've had those moments, you've had those times. I want to throw in a little bit of how I cope, or how I coped when we first came out being plant-based. And then I wanted to share some books that I have read that have helped me, that help, some of them are new, but a couple of these help me prepare myself for coming out. You know, excuse the expression, but that's really what I felt like when we went plant-based. I felt like I was coming out. So, okay, so at the beginning of my story here, so y'all think about it. Think about ways that you cope with it now. Okay, now that you're plant-based, you're all comfortable, but you still get, you know, you still come into those situations. Think about what you do, and I want to read those answers. Okay, so when we first went plant-based, y'all have already seen the video that I posted last Saturday, and that video, you know, I was 5 months into eating plant-based, and I told the family before, like when we all decided that we would go plant-based, I told Charlie and the kids, don't tell anybody. And I said, you know, I said, because we are learning something new. We're going into this and we're going to be learning as we go. And if we, and this is just how I felt, I felt like as newbies to this lifestyle, we were not in a place where we could fully explain where we got our protein, or we could fully explain all the sources, you know, that of calcium or any of that stuff. We didn't have any of that nutritional head knowledge. We didn't know where all the substitutions were or what we were going to do about cheese or any of those things. We weren't prepared to answer that barrage. And so I said, you know what, just to spare ourselves so that we can enjoy this, don't tell anybody. Don't tell the family. Don't tell our friends. You know, we just don't say a word. And let's not do this for at least, I told him, I said, let's not do it for at least 3 months. For 3 months, let's just keep this to ourselves. Let's enjoy what we're doing. Let's explore and figure it out for ourselves, figure out what we like. And then when we're all comfortable, then we'll let stuff out. And that's what we did. And I think we probably went a little longer than 3 months. And it was weird. We had situations. We went to a friend's house, and it was one of those where they invited us to a barbecue, and they had smoked some ribs, you know, on the grill, and they did not know that we were going plant-based, and they didn't know at all. And we had made sure to bring plenty of salad, Maggie's black beans, so they didn't think anything about us, you know. I mean, what we brought, they had no clue. And there we were. Charlie and I both got one rib and put it on our plate. And when nobody was looking, we said, you know what, let's just say goodbye to ribs. Remember I told you how we said goodbye to food? We said goodbye to ribs. We ate one rib, which didn't, you know, and then we're like, that was the end of it. And then we ate all veggies. And then the family, you know, they didn't ask, they didn't say anything because we ate one rib and we left it on the plate. And to them, they were just going crazy. There were other people. So it wasn't like we were the focus. But it was one of those moments like, uh-oh, what do we do? So anyways, we kept it quiet. And then when we finally came out to our folks and our friends, we were more ready. And the books that I read that helped me, one of them was this book by Brenda Davis. Now, this is an old copy of Becoming Vegan. I found this at the Half Price bookstore. You can, I love it. Candace says, I did say goodbye to food as well. Yeah, for us, that helped. It really helped to say goodbye. I literally looked down at that rib and I said, goodbye. Okay, rib, you smell great. You taste good. This is the last time we'll ever meet. And I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I savored every bite. And when it was gone, it was gone. And it was just like, waving goodbye to a friend. It was just like, okay, see ya. But I've never wanted to eat it again. It was like having closure, putting that closure on all that food. It really helped me. But anyways, Becoming Vegan. The information in here in my copy is a little outdated now, but you can get a newer copy. But in the back, Lanny Mulrath's on. Oh, Lanny, you're going to love what's coming up next. Okay, so in the back, there's a section on vegan diplomacy, and it's just, she goes over, situations that we run into. And so I felt that was a helpful area. Happy Herbivore. Oh, wait, that wasn't the next book. The book that like, before the first 3 months that I was plant-based, this book helped me. Colleen Patrick-Goudreau's 30-Day Vegan Challenge. I was not crazy about the recipes. She was a little too weird for me at the time, at the beginning of my plant-based plant-based journey. I did not get into that part. I read the stuff because it's very informative, but I wasn't ready for her recipes. But all the situations, the coping with going to restaurants, how to deal with people that make fun of you, like people that are going to make jokes, the passive aggressives, all that stuff. The information, it was like she was preparing me for the room that I was going to walk into. So this book helped me a bunch. Her experience helped a lot there. The newest book that I would recommend to anyone, now, I feel like I have to read the second half of this book for myself, but for anybody who is just getting started and they want to feel like they know the transitions and what to expect, this is not planned. I promise you, this is not planned, because she's right there. Lanny Mulrath's right here, but it's Lanny Mulrath's plant-based journey. Is this a trip or what, Lanny? She says, aloha from Honolulu. I'm here to present at Veg Society of Hawaii. Surf's up. Oh, that's cool. That is cool. I could see you out on the surf looking hot in your bikini. Susan says, I just got that book this week. I really like this book. I like this book as someone who is plant-based, and I really enjoy this book as someone who coaches other people and on their plant-based journey. So this helps me. It helps me help others. And then the back end, I really like, as far as reminding me to be a better, how to be a better meal planner, and ways that I can, just kind of clean up the way I eat when I slip off and all that kind of stuff. So this is a great book. I recommend this. This would, if I were starting all over again, I would definitely say that this book would be a very helpful book for anybody for all stages of plant-based living, but for those especially who are just starting out. There's a lot of good prep and stuff like that in this book. So, all right, there you go. Those are my top books that I would recommend to y'all. If anything, even if you're plant-based and maybe you need some books that you need to pass to friends, any one of those. I think it would depend on who your friend is. Like, if you have a friend who has a special love for the animals, then I would say Becoming Vegan and Brenda Davis and Colleen Patrick-Goudreau would probably appeal to them more, right? Because they do speak a lot about veganism as a whole and what it does for everything, the environment. The plant-based journey, I feel like, is more about our health and our nutrition and just day-to-day meal planning and coping and living and stuff like that. I mean, not that she's not about the benefit of the animals. Lanny certainly is. But if you need a book that kind of approaches somebody from their health and activity perspective and just how to go through the day-to-day of being plant-based, then this would be a book that would reach that person. And then Happy Herbivore, this would be, a great for, I think of women that are in their 20s, their early 30s, would definitely appeal, would probably be drawn to Lindsay Nixon, the way she writes. This is, it's a very light, well-read book. So that's a good one too. So just depends on who you have. I have books that, like this 30-day challenge, I have 5 other copies of this book. Becoming Vegan, I have an extra copy. I have extra copies of The Plant-Based Journey. When I come across a book that I know will help other people and I think would be easy to pass along to somebody else, I get an extra copy, because I've already learned that when I give out the one copy that I have, I inevitably think, oh, I wish I could have that book back, because people tend to take their time with books. They might take a month or 3 months reading your book before they ever get it back. And then in that 3 months, you're thinking, oh, I wish I had the recipe out of that book. So I've done that enough to myself that I said, forget it. From now on, when I find a good book, I go back on Amazon, I get another copy, and then I keep that one, to hand out. So that's how I roll. All right, so did anyone, did y'all throw in how you deal? Suzanne says, I highly recommend Doug Lyle's book, The Pleasure Trap. Very good advice on answering all the questions. I do not have that book, and I need to add it to my library. That is one I do not have. Thank you, Suzanne. But yeah, you have a potluck, or you invite people over to your house, specifically to turn them on. You let them, I've done it plenty of times, you just let them go through your books and try not to overwhelm them with information. I always try not to, Charlie and I always call that throwing up on somebody. You get excited about sharing information with them, somebody who's genuinely interested, and you do everything in your power not to just throw up everything that right all over them, right? So I'm much better now than I was when I first went plant-based. But it's like anything, when we're on fire and we're excited about something that is working for us, we naturally want to share it with others. But we have to be careful. We have to be careful that when we're sharing, that we're not giving people too much information. We don't want to overwhelm them, because we don't want the overwhelming feeling to feel like it's something complicated. Everything that we know, we learned over time, and they're just learning it right there in that minute that you're shoving it all down their throat. So it can feel overwhelming to somebody else. Julie says, whenever people comment to me about all the things I must have given up to be plant-based, I comment to the effect that I consider the only things I've truly given up are just a few of the following: chronic sinus infections, lifelong allergies, chronic fatigue syndrome, sleep apnea, chronic anxiety, and by the way, also lost 60 pounds. Yeah, there you go. Just to name a few. Yeah. Are you sure you don't want all that back, Julie? Come on. Megan says, glad to know it isn't just us. We are only 7 weeks in and still majorly on fire. Well, that's going to last for at least your good solid year. I think it'll continue. Well, for us, it just continued as we improved. I mean, we're 5 years in. This Thanksgiving will be, let's see, hold on, 6. Yeah, this Thanksgiving will be 5 years for us, for my whole family. And, we have never once thought about going back. We've never thought about undoing how good we feel. We don't want to go back to the way we lived at all. Yeah, Julie says, absolutely, don't want it all back. No way. Yeah, it's very nice. Ashley's here. So glad. She says, so glad I finally get to join. My favorite book to recommend to people is I Could Never Go Vegan. Each chapter is an awesome excuse: rabbit food, cheese, protein deficiency. and has recipes for each excuse. It's awesome. Oh, I'm going to look into that. Oh, there you go. She posted a link. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, another book I like to, now, there are certain books like, if I'm talking to a woman, if I'm talking to a wife who has a reluctant husband or a carnivore husband, then I always recommend My Beef with Meat and Engine 2 Diet. But I push for My Beef with Meat first. If they can only buy one book, then I push for My Beef with Meat because I really like the recipes out of that one. And I think that's the one we were talking about. Somebody mentioned Jeb's Waffles. I think that one's in My Beef with Meat. So, again, knowing your friends, knowing your family and how they see food and how they, what their relationship to the food, their food is, then that makes a big difference as to what book you should recommend to them. Kathy says, did anyone out there get a plant-based certificate? I got my plant-based certification from T. Colin Campbell Foundation. I went that route. Candace says, I start my certification with Campbell August 17th. Oh, yay! When people say, I got a plant-based certificate, well, it's T. Colin Campbell's foundation. It's their thing, but they used eCornell to service it. So anyways, yes, I have it. Got it in 2013. It certainly is, it makes me feel more confident as a person who gives out information that I have a certificate, you know what I mean? Like, I admit there's a part of me that likes having a certificate in something, like, I like having a bachelor's degree, so I like having certificates as ways to prove that I have studied. But I'll tell you that if you're not somebody who needs a certificate, you just want the information, well, then just all you have to do is read The China Study by Dr. Campbell. You read Whole by Dr. Campbell, and read Dr. Esselstyn's Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease, and you have your plant-based nutrition certification. Read those 3 books, you got everything you need. And then if you just want to keep on expanding your brain, if you want to follow Brandon Brazier and Matt Frazier, the No Meat Athlete, if you want to learn about vegan athletes, you can go through him. Rich Roll is a vegan athlete. If you want to get more perspective on doctors and tests, what not to take and what to take, and what's going on nutritionally, then Dr. Dr. Pamela Popper, she has a YouTube channel. She posts every Tuesday and Thursday. She will feed your brain. And of course, we have Dr. Michael Greger's nutritionfacts.org, the YouTube channel and the website. You can feed your head there, and you can give yourself more information through those people. And you can just make up your own plant-based certificate. I mean, if you really want to get down to it. Yeah, I absolutely love Pam Popper. She is awesome. I had the good fortune to sit down with her one night. She invited me to eat dinner with her and Chef Del Sroof. And so they had just come off the plane, and we just met up, and we had talked through Skype and had an interview. I'd interviewed her a while back. And anyway, so when we met face to face, we went and hung out, and it was really cool. She's really awesome. Chef Del Sroof is hilarious. And I just fell in love with her. In person, I just fell in love with her. I kind of had a doctor crush on her, and it just solidified when I met her in person. So anyways, she's super cool. I love to catch her Tuesday, Thursday broadcast. All right. Y'all have a good night, and I will talk with y'all later. Bye.